if you want to do something. If you don't want to do something, then I'll stay on the call.
Let me just think. I'm still.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the regular City Council meeting of September 15th. We'll begin with a poem from our poet laureate, Jenna Lynn Albert.
Thank you, Your Worship. This evening I'll be reading a poem from a new collection of poetry called The Knowing Animals by Fredericton poet Emily Skov Nielsen. The poem I'll be reading is the titular poem, The Knowing Animals. In a world stirring with blood and roaring air, the invisibles were all ears, all lays and hoofprints. I heard one, miles deep, a bugle from a womb of black spruce. I remembered my own dark language, hedged by hemlock and fir, guarded by forked roads, diverging arrows. And unearthing requires more than a compass. So what now of those rooms, empty and aseptic, trimmed with brainwashed flowers? Shh, listen, watchful, who wade unbridled through brushland. A fracas of ravens in the treetops, I thought of you and your crow's feet, your hulking hooded eyes. The day you were pulled from unbounded space, trees toppled, and the needle pointed north. Thank you very much. On September 28th, it's Buy a New Brunswick Book Day, and I would highly recommend you pick up some New Brunswick poetry or works by New Brunswick authors. They have been impacted greatly by COVID-19, and local bookstores can always use your support too. Thank you, Worship.
Thank you very much. Before we begin with the approval agenda, I mean, everybody knows what happened yesterday. We had a provincial election, and I'd like to send council's verbal congratulations to the 7 MLAs that are going to be representing Fredericton. And they are, for people's record, I mean, we should know by now, but Ryan Cullens in Fredericton, York, Jill Green, Fredericton North, Chris Austin, Fredericton Grand Lake, Mary Wilson, Oromocto, Fredericton Lincoln, Jeff Carr, New Maryland Sunbury, Dominic Cardy, Fredericton West Hanwell, and David Kuhn of Fredericton South. And congratulations to all, to you individually and to your teams and your families. A lot of effort goes into that, and we really look forward to working with you over the next 4 years. And I'd like to say a big thank you to the outgoing MLAs that have been representing us for the last couple of years, and that would be Stephen Horseman and Rick DeSaulnier. So all the best to you, gentlemen, and thanks for putting your name forward a few years back and helping us out along the way. And also a tip of the hat to the Conservative Party. Progressive Conservatives were the victorious party last night with a majority government. And also a tip of the hat to Elections NB for putting on the first pandemic election, at least in Canada, and showing that it can be done with when you have professionals in the professional staff in charge and running the operation. So kudos to them. So it'll be an exciting 4 years for us as we learn to work with some new team members and the party in power. And I look forward to some real good progress on files for Fredericton and the region. So we'll move on to the approval of the agenda. City Clerk.
Thank you, Worship. There's no additional items to the agenda this evening.
Thank you. That would be moved by Councillor Peters, second by Councillor McGarity, that the agenda be approved as presented. All those in favor? Against? Motion is carried. Does anybody have a conflict of interest to declare on any items tonight? Councillor Peters?
Yeah, 5.4.
5.4 on the consent agenda. Councillor McDermott? 7.3. Okay. We'll ask you to fill out the papers required for that and remove yourself from the council chamber when we vote on that. On the consent agenda, one of the items that was on the consent agenda is one councillor is in conflict on, so we'd have to procedurally to let this happen, we have to remove that from the item and vote on it separately. A motion to move that from the Councillor Dara, second by Councillor Malay, to remove item 5.4 from the consent agenda. On the question, Councillor Keenan.
Just so we learn for later, why would we procedurally need to remove it if he's removed himself from the chamber? So I don't think we need to. Right, we're voting on a consent agenda, he's not here. Okay.
Yep. I think it was a cautionary move, but if it's we can't have something to back up, Councillor McDermott.
Look, I think that's kind of a fair point, but what it means is that if it stays within the consent agenda, he's actually not there to approve of any of the other items that are on the consent. Well, I'm sorry? Oh, he's already gone. Oh, okay, well, okay.
Is he aware that he didn't need to leave, or did he leave before realizing that he didn't need to leave? Like,
He's in conflict.
we're making assumptions without talking to him.
Okay. Well, okay. No, he's in conflict on that issue, so we can't discuss the consent agenda while he's in the room. Councillor McDermott.
Well, then can I make a motion
Yes.
to remove that item from the consent agenda?
Well, that's already been moved.
I don't like, I just
We
don't.
already moved to remove that from consent agenda. we shouldn't get ourselves bogged down in this one too deep here, folks, but anyways, it's been, all those in favor of removing it from the consent agenda? It's so moved. So if item 5.4 would be removed. So we'll vote on the consent agenda, which is items 5.1, 2, 3, 5, and 6. Moved by the Deputy Mayor, second by Councillor Chase. On the question? All those in favor of the motion? Those against? The motion is carried. We'll move on to item 5.4. Now you can remove yourself. 5.4, that is the request to consent of assignment 615 Queen Street. Councillor Rogers, would you take that one?
Be it resolved that council consents to Aquilini Properties LP's request for assignment of the lease of 615 Queen Street, Fredericton, NB, PID 752-78309, dated June 3rd, 2013, to 540 Kitchen and Bar, Inc., and authorizes the mayor and city clerk to execute the legal documents required to complete the transaction.
Be seconded by Councillor Chase, that downtown Fredericton representative. On the question, Councillor Keenan.
Yeah, just in case that folks aren't aware, that's the address of the lighthouse, and I think it's exciting. I think it's pretty well known in the community now, but that 540 Kitchen and Bar will take over the operation of the lighthouse, and I suspect they'll bring some exciting new vitality to that as we get into the next summer.
That's right. All those in favor of the motion? Those against? The motion is carried. So we learned something procedurally tonight, or maybe we didn't, but we got through it. Anyways, that's right. We'll have to remember for the next time. So the approval of the minutes of the regular city council meeting of July 27th be moved by Councillor Keenan, second by Councillor Rogers. On the question, all those in favor of the motion? Those against? Motion is carried. Third reading of bylaws. Bylaw S15-5, fire lane changes at Brookside Drive. Councillor Dara.
Be it resolved that bylaw number S-15.5, a bylaw to amend bylaw number S-15, fire lane bylaw for the city of Fredericton, be read by summary pursuant to section 15, subsection 4 of the Local Governance Act.
Seconded by Councillor Peters. On the question. All those in favor of the motion? Those against? The motion is carried. Bylaw 7.2, we have,
Your worship. I'm not finished.
oh, no, sorry, we're not finished that. Yeah, third reading. Sorry, yes, carry on.
Whereas municipalities may make bylaws pursuant to the Local Governance Act, now therefore be it enacted by the Council of the City of Fredericton and pursuant to the authority vested in it by Local Governance Act, SNB 2017, Chapter 18 as follows. The purpose of proposed bylaw number S-15.5 is to change the fire lanes at Brookside Mall, and be it resolved that bylaw number S-15.5, a bylaw to amend bylaw number S-15, fire lane bylaw for the city of Fredericton be given third reading by title.
Seconded by Councillor Peters. On the question. All those in favor of the motion? Those against? The motion is carried. Now bylaw 7.2, and we have two councillors that were not present for second reading and can't participate in third reading. So Councillor McDermott, you take that, please.
Thank you, Worship. Be resolved the bylaw number Z6.1, a bylaw to amend bylaw number Z6, bylaw to adopt a municipal plan for the city of Fredericton be read by summary pursuant to section 15, subsection 4 of the Local Governance Act.
Seconded by Councillor Erickson. On the question.
I'm in.
All those in favor? Against? Motion is carried.
Whereas municipalities may make bylaws pursuant to the Local Governance Act, now therefore be it enacted by the Council of the City of Fredericton and pursuant to the authority vested in it by Section 10 of the Local Governance Act, SNB 2017, Chapter 18, summarized as follows. The purpose of proposed bylaw number Z6.1 is to amend bylaw number Z6 in order to correct text mapping and rezoning issues, and be it resolved that bylaw number Z6.1, a bylaw to amend bylaw number Z6, bylaw to adopt a municipal plan for the city of Fredericton be given third reading by title.
Seconded by Councillor Erickson. On the question. All those in favor of the motion? Those against? Motion's carried.
Be it resolved that bylaw number Z 10.1, a bylaw to amend bylaw number Z 10, a bylaw to adopt a city center secondary municipal plan for the city of Fredericton, be read by summary pursuant to section 15, subsection 4 of the Local Governance Act.
Seconded by Councillor Erickson. On the question. All those in favor of the motion? Those against? Motion is carried.
Whereas municipalities may make bylaws pursuant to the Local Governance Act, now therefore be it enacted by the Council of the City of Fredericton pursuant to the authority voted in it by Section 10, vested in it by Section 10 of the Local Governance Act, SNB 2017, Chapter 18, summarized as follows. The purpose of proposed bylaw number Z 10.1 is to amend bylaw number Z 10 in order to correct text, mapping, and rezoning issues, and be it resolved that bylaw number Z 10.1, a bylaw to amend bylaw number Z 10, a bylaw to adopt a city center secondary municipal plan for the city of Fredericton be given third reading by title.
Seconded by Councillor Erickson. On the question. All those in favor of the motion? Those against? Motion is carried.
Be it resolved that bylaw number Z 5.197, a bylaw to amend bylaw number Z 5, a zoning bylaw for the city of Fredericton be read by summary pursuant to section 15, subsection 4 of the Local Governance Act.
Seconded by Councillor Erickson. On the question. All those in favor of the motion? Those against? Motion is carried.
Whereas municipalities may make bylaws pursuant to the Local Governance Act, now therefore be it enacted by the Council of the City of Fredericton pursuant to the authority vested in it by Section 10 of the Local Governance Act, SNB 2017, Chapter 18, summarized as follows. The purpose of proposed bylaw number Z 5.197 is to amend bylaw number Z5 by correcting text mapping and rezoning issues, and be it resolved that bylaw number Z 5.197, a bylaw to amend bylaw number Z5, a zoning bylaw for the city of Fredericton, be given third reading by title.
Seconded by Councillor Erickson. All those in favor of the motion? Those against? Motion is carried. That's the exciting part of City Council. For those that were watching, and those were several small amendments to 2 or 3 different subsections of bylaws and municipal plans that we had, and they're more housekeeping in nature, some of them, but they're required, but that's part of the process that we go through. Item 7.3. Again, we have another Councillor McDermott. It's the one, was he in conflict? Yep, it was in conflict. So bylaw Z 5.199, 1647 Woodstock Road, rezoning. Councillor Millet.
Thank you, Worship. Be it resolved that the terms and conditions be adopted.
Be seconded by Councillor Price. On the question. All those in favor of the motion? Those against? Motion is carried.
Be it resolved that bylaw number Z-5.199, a bylaw to amend bylaw number Z-5, a zoning bylaw for the city of Fredericton, be read by summary pursuant to section 15, subsection 4 of the Local Governance Act.
Seconded by Councillor Price. On the question. All those in favor of the motion? Those against? Motion is carried.
Whereas municipalities may make bylaws pursuant to the Local Governance Act, now therefore being enacted by the Council of the City of Fredericton and pursuant to the authority vested in it by Section 10 of the Local Governance Act, SNB 2017 C18, summarized as follows. The purpose of proposed bylaw number Z-5.199 is to amend bylaw number Z-5 by rezoning a portion of the property located off Woodstock Road, PID 753-14245 from Park Zone to Residential Zone 1. And be it resolved that bylaw number Z-5.199, a bylaw to amend bylaw number Z-5, a zoning bylaw for the city of Fredericton, be given third reading by title.
Seconded by Councillor Price. On the question. All those in favor of the motion? Those against? Motion is carried. 7.4, bylaw Z-5-200, 121 Church Street, rezoning. Councillor Rogers.
Thank you, Your Worship. Be it resolved that the terms and conditions be adopted.
That be seconded by Deputy Mayor. On the question. All those in favor of the motion? Wait a sec, we had one. Sorry about that. We'll give Councillor McDermott, we're going a little too fast here. Give Councillor McDermott a chance to sit down. So moved and seconded on adoption terms and conditions. All those in favor of the motion? Those against? Motion's carried. Carry on.
Be it resolved that bylaw number Z-5.200, a bylaw to amend bylaw number Z-5, a zoning bylaw for the city of Fredericton, be read by summary pursuant to section 15, subsection 4 of the Local Governance Act.
Seconded by Deputy Mayor. On the question. All those in favor of the motion? Those against? Motion is carried.
Whereas municipalities may make bylaws pursuant to the Local Governance Act, now therefore be it enacted by the Council of the City of Fredericton and pursuant to the authority vested in it by Section 10 of the Local Governance Act, SNB 2017, Chapter 18, summarized as follows. The purpose of proposed bylaw number Z-5.200 is to amend bylaw number Z-5 by rezoning a portion of the property located at 121 Church Street from Residential Zone 4, R4, to City Center Institutional Zone, CC1, in order to create a new lot. And be it resolved that bylaw number Z-5.200, a bylaw to amend bylaw number Z-5, a zoning bylaw for the City of Fredericton, be given third reading by title.
Seconded by the Deputy Mayor. On the question. All those in favor of the motion? Those against? Motion is carried. And 7.5, bylaw Z-5201, 227 Fulton Avenue, a zoning amendment. Councillor Price, you take that one?
There we go. Thank you, Your Worship. Be it resolved that terms and conditions be adopted.
Seconded by Councillor Keenan. On the question. All those in favor of the motion? Those against? Motion is carried.
Be it resolved that bylaw number Z-5.201, a bylaw to amend bylaw number Z-5, a zoning bylaw for the City of Fredericton, be read by summary pursuant to Section 15, Sub 4 of the Local Governance Act.
Be seconded by Councillor Keenan. On the question. All those in favor of the motion? Those against? Motion is carried.
Whereas municipalities may make bylaws pursuant to the Local Governments Act, now therefore be it enacted by the Council of the City of Fredericton and pursuant to the authority vested in it by Section 10 of the Local Governments Act, SNB 2017, Chapter 18, summarized as follows. The purpose of proposed bylaw number Z-5.201 is to amend bylaw number Z-5 under the residential zone to R2 in order to permit 2 additional dwelling units on property located at 227 Fulton Avenue. And be it resolved that bylaw number Z-5.201, a bylaw to amend bylaw number Z-5, a zoning bylaw for the City of Fredericton, be given third reading by title.
Seconded by Councillor Keenan. On the question. All those in favor of the motion? Those against? The motion is carried. And it just occurred to me, Alicia Keating, you still on the line? I was asked if we could have Alicia just speak to item 5.2, which was the debenture refinancing, just so people could understand what that was about. Alicia, you still there?
Thank you, Your Worship. Yes, I am. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Apologize, I skipped right over asking you to speak on that item. But
no worries. So essentially what this is kind of like remortgaging a facility. So we originally borrowed for 20 years for the convention center, as well as a small portion of the Northside Fire Station. And essentially what this is the second 10-year term of that 20-year debenture. So we're going to the province. They issue debentures to the Municipal Capital Borrowing Board. So this is all budgeted. It has no long-term impact because it is built into our long-term financial plan.
okay, straightforward. Okay, thank you. A motion to excuse Councillor Grandy. That be moved by Councillor Erickson, seconded by Councillor McDermott. Is there a seconder? Yeah. I volunteered a seconder. All those in favor? Against? Motion is carried. And a motion to adjourn. That be Peters and Price. All those in favor? Against? Motion is carried. Thank you.
Your Worship, if you can stay on for immediate call, please.